Hello everyone, I hope you guys had a fantabulous day. So I got some feedback from some friends and family and I really appreciate it. Somebody told me that I was boring and monotone, so I'm going to be working on projecting my voice, being a little happier. Somebody else told me that my videos were too long, and somebody else at my job suggested pretty much the same thing, that my videos are too long, and just suggested that I cut some of the food prior to recording the video. Just so, my last video was like 53 minutes long, and I know that that's kind of a long time. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a try this way. A lot of focus there. So I went ahead and cut my food. I'm going to just post a picture on Instagram of all the ingredients before I did anything with them. And then we're just going to cook them like this. So thank you once again for tuning in. Please give this video a like, subscribe, comment, and let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so what I did with the tomatoes, so before we even get into that, I'm going to be making kind of like spaghetti. I'm going to be making a tomato sauce. I'm going to be putting some gluten-free noodles in, where it's going to have sausage and just some vegetables. So it's not a spaghetti, it's a little bit different. So I cut the tomatoes. I got some really big tomatoes, just cut them in half, and then on both halves I just kind of cut them and then cut them into smaller pieces. Put some olive oil in the pan, and now I'm going to get those going. And I'm going to just put the lid on there, and I'm just going to wait for them to get a little bit softer, and then we'll move on. In this pan over here, I'm going to be boiling some water to get the noodles in there. So I put water in here and some salt with flavor. So we are going to be using these. I got these because these were on sale. So these are gluten-free and they are made with brown rice. There's literally brown rice flour and rice flour. I want to learn how to make my own pasta soon, but for now, this is what we have. So I'm going to wait for the water to start boiling before I put them in. So right now we have water that we're waiting to boil, and we have the tomatoes that we are waiting for them to get soft, and then I will take them out. So we're just going to wait on those. While we are waiting on everything to get going, I'm going to try a new garlic bread recipe. And this is actually so simple, so I'm really excited to try it. So here we have 1/4 cup of almond meal. I actually made this almond meal, and I'm going to do another video just how simple that is. We pay so much money in buying the pre-ground almond flour, coconut flour, and all that, and it's so easy to make. The only thing that I have seen with that is that it does clump a little bit more. So you just want to, I have noticed that whenever I make something with the flour, I just run your fork through it and smush out the lumps. It's just that simple, because I don't use any like decaking agents, I guess is what it's called. Alright, so this just called for, so we have the 1/4 cup of almond flour, 1 egg. Alright, 1 egg. I'm going to just kind of stir that up with it. This recipe, there's not a lot of ingredients, and that makes me happy, because the garlic bread from the store, first of all, I haven't even been able to find a good gluten-free garlic bread, which is weird. Actually, in my Kroger, I have not found any gluten-free garlic bread, and I have really just been wanting bread. Those cheddar biscuits that I made yesterday were so good. They did come out a little bit more eggy than I wanted, so I would try it next time, but with using egg substitutes like flaxseed and water. And then maybe just reduce the amount of eggs that I used. Alright, so that was it. And then it called for a cup of cheese. So the recipe that I saw called for mozzarella, but I just really want some sharp cheddar. So we're going to use that in here. I don't think it's going to make a difference. So I have pretty much a cup in here, maybe a little bit more. And just like a little bit more. So I'm gonna put that in there. And I'm gonna use my fork again just to stir it. So I guess that the cheese kind of does make it more doughy. So that's exciting. Oh, all this cheese, I'm getting excited just looking at it. All right, and then it just said season it. So it said Italian seasoning. So I'm just gonna kind of throw what we have in here. So I'm gonna put in some pepper, a little bit of salt, using the sea salt. Not too much though, because the cheese is already kind of salty. So a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, why not? And then I'm going to use some oregano. All right, and then I'm gonna just add a little bit of cumin in it as well. I think cumin would go in that. All right, so let's stir it up. And it's just that simple. So I think this is gonna work good. This bakes on 325 for 15 minutes. So I'm not gonna put it in yet because this food is gonna take a little bit longer than 15 minutes, and I really like the cheesy things when they're fresh out of the oven. So that's it. I actually have a little bit more cheese on the cutting board that I'm gonna save. So I'm gonna get out a pan here. I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil to the pan, just where I'm gonna be putting this down because I don't want it to stick. And then it said you just kind of stick it down and then push it out. All right. So just like that, I guess I'm just gonna try to make it as even as I can so that way it cooks evenly. This is kind of looking rectangular, so I'm just gonna let it go to the shape that it wants to be. So this is interesting. If this comes out good, then I will definitely try it again because it's so simple. All right. It doesn't make very much though, so maybe next time I'll double the recipe if it's good. Let's try it out with it being small and see how that works. All right. That's not really a rectangle anymore, but it's all good. All right, so I have this little bit of extra cheese, like literally just a little bit. So I'm gonna spread that on there. Very little bit. All right, so then I'm just gonna scoot this off to the side, and then we're gonna check on our tomatoes and see how they're doing. All right, so they are getting softer. Just gonna move them around here. So the last time that I made this, it was very liquidy, and I didn't like how that came out. So when I was looking at another recipe, more specifically, I was looking at tomato paste recipes because they are thicker. I just saw that what they did is they made them soft, and then they just took out the excess moisture, kept a little bit of it, but took out a lot of that excess moisture and then just blended up the pulp and the skins of the tomatoes. So we're gonna try that out to see if that works, if that method works a little bit better. Because before, what I did is I put the tomatoes into a blender and then I blended them up and put them in the pan, thinking that some of the liquid would just evaporate out of it, and it just wasn't very thick. It was very thin, and so that would have been good for a soup if you're going to be adding more stuff in it. So this is actually softening pretty quickly, and you can see all the all the water in it, the tomato juice. So we'll just let that continue for a little bit longer until it gets softer. And I'm going to put the lid back on there. And then once I'm done with those, I'm just going to be adding some seasoning, kind of the same seasonings that I put onto the garlic bread, and then I'm going to be putting in some garlic, get that going, and then I'm going to be adding in the vegetables and the sausages, and then we will incorporate the tomatoes back into the vegetables and the meat, and then I'm going to mix it in with the noodles. So it's kind of like spaghetti, just a little bit different. So the water is just about boiling. With gluten-free noodles, I have found that it works a lot better when the noodles, or when the water has fully boiled. Alright, so I gave it about 5 more minutes, and the tomatoes are almost there. We're still just waiting on the larger chunks. And by now the water is just about at a good boil. I guess we'll give these just a little bit more time. Alright, so the tomatoes are definitely done. Now, as you can see, it's a lot more stew-like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain out some of this liquid. I'm going to be using just a strainer. Got a metal one. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm just going to put them in a bowl, and we are going to try to make this a little bit smoother texture. The water is at a really nice boil, so we're going to go ahead and put the noodles in. Oh, these are fancy. They come in a bag. This is my first time using the noodles with rice. Alright, so these are definitely a lot more fragile. Rice noodles. Okay. I'm making a mess. These should be pretty easy to break. They are. Alright. That is definitely much different than the other noodles that I have used. Alright, I'm going to get a spoon here. Give these a stir around. I have found with gluten-free noodles, it is very important to keep stirring. You want to break them up because I have found that they clump together very easily. And it does not take longer than like 5-6 minutes. So I'm actually going to put a timer on because I don't want to get distracted. So I'm going to put it on there for 6 minutes and just keep trying to spread out the noodles to make sure that they are not clumped together. I'm just going to stir those periodically. Alright. So in the meantime, I'm going to get some olive oil in the pan. I'm going to go ahead and get the vegetables going. A little bit more. And actually, I'm going to put in the meat and the vegetables at the same time. And so here I pre-cut, this is 2 bell peppers, some onion, these are jalapenos, and a little bit of garlic. So I'm going to just add those in. We're going to keep that stirring and going. I love the smell of fresh vegetables. This might be different than other people, but I actually really like the way onions smell. Alright, so I'm going to stir that up in there. Oop, I just found a piece that I missed, and I need to chop that one up a little bit more. because that would be a really big piece of pepper. Alright, so we're going to get that going. I'm going to stir up these noodles. I'm going to try to keep stirring them consistently because I do not want them to get stuck together. Alright, it's starting to sizzle. Let's get ready to sizzle. Now I'm getting excited. Alright, so the noodles, they look good. They don't look like they're breaking up. I mean, they look like they are breaking up pretty well. They don't look like they're sticking. Alright, so I'm going to stir these. This is just a pork sausage. Stirred that up. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do is do the tomatoes. Alright, so I got the tomatoes in the bowl, and we're going to use this guy. It's like a little... Alright, so I'm just going to pulse this. This is definitely a lot thicker than when I did it before. This is more the consistency that I was hoping it would be. There's still some chunks of skin, so I'm going to try to get those. The tomato skin. What does this one do? Oh, high and low. Alright, I'm not going to mix it up too much. There's a lot of skin left over, but that's fine. So, that was that. Let me unplug it. So, this definitely is way more the consistency that I was hoping it would be. That makes me happy. That's really what I wanted it to look like. Alright. So then we're just going to stir the veggies here. Get those going. I'm going to season them in a little bit. So if these sausages, the sausages that I get, they're cooked, so you really just have to heat them up. If they had not been like that, then I would have cooked these separately, probably in the oven. I would have cut them first and then put them in the oven, cooked them, and then added them in. But that's not the case with these. They're already cooked, which is kind of weird. Sausages are really good to me. Well, I'm gonna have to get a new one of those. Sausages are really good, and they're kind of my one food that I know they're not the best for you, but they're so good. So I try to limit it. Alright, these noodles are not sticking together, so this is exciting. Is this the new noodle that I'm going to use? I'm just gonna take one, feel it, if they don't stop running away from me. Yeah, those are good. And yeah, it says 30 seconds left. So with these, I am going to strain them. I'm going to rinse them with cold water. That is also another important step that I have found in making the gluten-free noodles, is putting them in the cold water once you strain them. So I'm going to do that really quick. Alright, so we got the noodles done. So these rice noodles did not clump up at all. I'm super excited. There was maybe like one little clump. But these ones were way better than the ones that I tried, and I'm going to use those again. So now that we're getting towards the end, we're going to go ahead and pop this in. So 325. And then we're going to put it in there for 15 minutes. Hopefully that will work well. I'm going to put it in for 17 because the oven was not preheated. So I want to make sure that 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 gets preheated. All right, so we got the vegetables going. We're nearing the end of this. So once the vegetables and the meat are done, I'm going to put in our tomato sauce. I'm going to season everything, and then I'm going to put the noodles in here. So this is going to be a one-pan serving your family meal, which is nice. It takes up less room on the table. That's how we do it, at least. We have the plates all around and then the food in the middle, so we don't have to get up if we want seconds. So this will be good. It'll just fit in there. So this smells good. You can already see the sausage is cooking. Vegetables are getting softer. And we are getting towards the end here. So you didn't see because I was cutting everything off camera, but I cut my thumb. And this Band-Aid actually is really staying on because I've washed dishes like 3 times and it's still there. But I just cut it with the serrated knife. Cutting an onion. Gosh, my mom cuts her fingers all the time, especially using a mandolin when you go like that with the food to cut it. And so I bought her cut gloves for Christmas, partly being funny and partly because I care about her fingers. And everybody kind of laughed. But honestly, today I needed that. And I didn't think I would ever need that to cut onions. That's not even something difficult to cut. But my thumb did hurt really bad. I think I got some onion juice in there. And that's not fun. Alright, so I'm going to add in this tomato. I'm going to go get some seasonings really quick. Alright, so now we're going to pour in our tomato sauce. Okay. Made just a little bit of mess. You see it?
Oh, yeah, it looks good.
Does that look good? Are you excited to eat this?
Yes.
Good. I'm happy to hear that.
I want to taste it for real while it's hot.
Oh, we're going to eat it while it's hot, buddy.
Thanks.
But that looks good. We're going to add some noodles in there, and I got some garlic bread. What do you think?
Oh, some noodles.
Yeah, but back up. It's still a little hot on the stove, okay?
Is this what it's going to look like?
Yeah, kind of. That's kind of what we're eating.
Yep.
Does that look good?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So this consistency is what I was hoping. It was maybe a little waterier than I was thinking, but I think when we add the noodles, I think that it'll be good.
Mommy, when are you going to add the noodles?
I'm going to add them now.
Okay, add them now when you cook.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. At least hot.
Are you excited?
They're not that hot.
Please.
Mommy, what this is?
What, buddy?
This is definitely hot.
It is. All right, so now we're going to add the noodles in there.
Whoa!
Somebody's excited. All right.
Can I have a noodle taste?
What?
Can I have a noodle taste?
Hold on, buddy.
Can I have some of the noodle?
Yeah. Hold on. Don't put your hand over this, please, because it's hot. Hold on.
Can you give me some noodle? A noodle crumb?
A noodle crumb? I don't think that's what it's called, buddy. Here.
Ooh.
Take it. No, just take it off my hand. All right, so now I'm going to stir this in there. We got the noodles going.
Ooh.
And then I'm going to add the seasonings.
Go play.
This does look really good. All right. Just want to stir that up so it gets all nice and incorporated. All right, and now we are going to season it a little bit. Let me get over some of the spices that we're going to be using today. All right, so now I have all my seasonings in there. I did end up straining out just a little bit more of the sauce. So next time I'll use less tomatoes. Maybe that's what it was. So where I used 6 tomatoes, maybe I would use like 4 and see how that goes, because now this is the consistency that I was hoping for. There's also different ways that you can thicken food. You can add in flax seeds. They absorb some moisture, so maybe that's something else that I can try in the future while I'm trying to get that perfect tomato paste. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and season it. I'm gonna just be using some garlic salt. I mean, this is not garlic salt, this is garlic powder. These are my favorite. And I don't, oh, it is open. This is red pepper flakes. I'm not gonna add too much of that because I am also adding a little bit of red cayenne pepper. Just a little bit though. I'm not trying to make anybody sweat while they're eating. Add a little bit of pepper. Just a little bit there. I'm gonna be adding a little bit of chili powder. This also is homemade, and I can put in there what we use to make this. Oregano is the next thing we're gonna put in here. And onion powder. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. I need to get that. And this thing, it comes out slowly because the crystals are bigger. So if you see me shaking that salt and you're like, ooh, that's too much. It's, you know, you can add spices to your taste. I like to use spices because it adds a lot to your dish. So, and I try to also season in different stages. So that way everything gets nice and seasoned. Okay, so that... this looks good. This is what I wanted it to look like. So not quite spaghetti. I don't know what you would call this. It's just kind of all the food mixed together. And so our garlic bread has 6 more minutes. So we're going to take that out, take a peek at it, see what it's doing. I have by now turned off the burner because this is hot and it's not, it'll still be good in 6 minutes. Cool off a lot by then. All right, so let us take this out and take a look at it. Oh, well, that grew. It's still not done yet, but it is kind of hardening. All right, so we're gonna put that back in there for the 5 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and clean some of this stuff up really quick, and we'll check back with you in 5 minutes. To see if our garlic bread needs more time or if it's going to be good to go ahead and eat. Alright, so the timer just beeped and I got a lot of stuff cleaned, so I'm excited. Alright, let's see. So it's got a nice little crust around it. It's pretty thin. But it feels... I don't know what my son is in there doing. Sounds like a earthquake. Alright, so this actually feels like it's done, which is cool. And it's so cheesy, so I'm super excited. Alright, so this is done. This is what we're going to be having tonight. I'm going to be serving it in this, so I'm going to go ahead and spread some Parmesan cheese that I previously grated. I'm just going to add some on there, let that melt. And then I'll be serving that to my family once I get other stuff cleaned. I'm probably like one of the only people to ever say that I really enjoy washing dishes. It's so therapeutic. When I was growing up, we never used our dishwasher because my mom just was like, no, this uses up too much water. So we're not going to do that. So I just enjoy washing dishes. So but they're almost done. All right, so I just wanted to kind of see how that is. So if you see at the bottom, it's pretty much just cheesy, but it looks like it's going to be really good. All right, well, I guess we're going to go ahead and serve this to the fam. Pretty simple tonight. So this video is a little bit shorter than before. Let me know how you guys like this one. Did you like the one before where I cut everything there, or do you like this version better? I definitely want to be able to do a video that everyone enjoys. And I also want to be able to do videos where everyone is also part of it, like a community thing. And so if you have anything that you want me to make, let me know. I love to experiment with things, just like I experimented with these rice noodles, which I really like. But let me know if there are things that you want me to try to make, and I'd be glad to do that. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have watched to the end, thank you so much for your support. Please just give this video a like, comment, let me know. If you try it, tag me in it on Instagram. I'm going to put my Instagram information below, and I will share the picture with everyone else. And just let me know if you tried new things, how you liked them. So once again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to my friends and family for the feedback. I really appreciate it. And I am hungry, so I am going to go eat. But I hope you guys have a wonderful night, day, whenever you're watching this. I hope it's a great one. So thank you very much. Bye-bye.